This is Andy James, and you're watching loudguitars.com.
Well, we've got a few technical issues. Basically, the sound engineer is fucked off, so we can't play any songs at the moment. But you know, while I'm here, I can kind of do a couple of things. Really, I can talk about the guitar I'm going to play today, and I can take any questions if you guys have got anything you want to know about. I don't know what picks I'm using because I don't even fucking know that. So don't ask me. In fact, actually, I found one that seems to be working now. So you know, 3 days in, and I've got a clue finally. Okay, well the guitar I'm using today is the ESP LTD AJ1, which is my own signature guitar, I'm proud to say. This guitar is pretty simple in how it operates. I basically got rid of the tone control on the guitar, just because I never use a tone control, and it's always one of those things where I end up getting it out the bag, I'll plug it in, and I'll think, why the fuck is my tone so dull? And I'm obviously stupid, because I just think, maybe you should just turn the fucking tone up. But I never use it anyway. I don't really play sort of, you know, jazz or anything where I'd need to roll that off. So I thought, fuck it, I'll get rid of it and put the switch there. So that's what they did. So that was nice of them. And I've got a volume control, so obviously, you know, kind of kills the volume. So we all know what that does. There's a few cool things about this guitar. One thing I keep forgetting to mention actually is it's the new H series headstock, which you see on most of the guitars around here, with the kind of pointy bit with this. But what I said to them is I kind of wanted the headstock to point up the other way. So I mean, I'm not really a massive fan of headstocks that kind of point towards the floor, because I'm not skinny enough or have long hair enough for that to look cool. So I decided that having it up the other way around is quite cool. And I'm, you know, a fan of, you know, like the reverse Ibanez headstocks and the comparison headstocks as well. So I kind of thought, well, why don't we try and do something like that with the headstock? So that's why it's shaped that way. Some people don't like it, some people do, but fuck them, I like it, and that's what matters. So the other thing is we've got some locking head tuners on the headstock, which basically takes the difficulty out of doing changing strings. So it's not really difficult, but you know, you want to play guitar, you don't want to fuck about changing strings. So the cool thing about this is you stick the string through the hole and lock it off, And that's it, just tighten it, tune it, you know, stretch your strings obviously, and then tune up. A couple of cool things on this which make it identifiable as my guitar. There's my logo at the 11th and 13th fret. I was kind of wondering whether they were actually going to be able to do that, because when we initially kind of thought about putting that on, there was an issue with maybe not getting as much detail. But you know, the guys in the production team managed to make it look really cool, so I'm thankful for them for that. And the last thing is the pickups in this guitar. They're actually active EMG pickups, even though they don't look it, you know, because EMG for a long time have just had the kind of the matte black look. So you know, when you put anything else in and kind of say it's EMG, they don't look like EMGs. It doesn't register. But these are definitely active EMGs, and they're the 57 and 66 combination. And yeah, I'm really happy about these pickups, and they've got great sustain. They sound really good. They're tight, but they're nice and warm as well. So you know, it's great for playing lead. It's also really good for playing rhythm as well. But there is another one of these guitars on the wall over there, and the cool thing about this year in the ESP booth is they're not actually pinned down, so you can steal them if you want to, but you're going to get caught by the people on there, because the security won't be very happy about that. Nor will we. So don't. I'm only joking. Don't steal them. Yeah, so but you can go and try it anyway, and if you would rather try one that's played in a little bit, because obviously new guitars can be a bit difficult to play, you can always come up and just jam on mine and see what you think of it. You can play through my setup. I'm using a Laney Ironheart 2x12 combo. Was it 1x12? I don't know. There's either 1 or 2 speakers in it, if that helps. Tube screamer, noise gate in the front end, and a carbon copy delay in the loop, and that's pretty much it. While we're still sorting out the backing track side of things and performing, if any of you guys got any questions for me, do you want to ask anything?
Is your tube screamer on all the time?
Yes. Yeah, I have it. I mean, generally when I use it with my main setup, I have the output on full. I don't use much gain on the pedal, and I have the tone in the middle. It's pretty much a kind of staple setup for most metal guitar players, Tube screamer, noise gate, and then it's it tightens up the low end, and it just makes everything have that kind of. Yeah, I mean, if I just okay, so this is the amp with nothing. Okay, so it's fairly low gain. It's still pretty tight, but when you get the tube screamer. This is with no overdrive, pedal full up, and the tone in the middle. So you can kind of hear that you've got more pick attack. What, you mean angling the pick? Yeah, well, that's another Paul Gilbert thing, I mean, I think, when you sort of flat... It's funny, because I'd never met Jet Flumis before until last night, and I've been going around asking all these artists about, like picks and what they use, and he pulled this fucking great thing out of his pocket. It was like one of these sharp things. And I'm thinking, how the fuck do you do that? And he doesn't angle his pick at all. We had this discussion, like all guitar players do. It's like, hey, how you doing? How do you angle your pick? That was like the first thing we talked about. And yeah, he doesn't at all. His pick is totally flat to the string. But I'm thinking, what's, sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander, I suppose. I mean, it's just different. Horses for courses, as we say in the UK. So everyone's different.
You said you're on like the search for the pick.
Yeah.
Do you find that if you do have a pointing pick that it's easier for you to nail the notes?
Yeah.
Because I found that too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I was using like 0.60mm Ultex picks for quite a long time, because I just liked the fact that I could really push the pick into the string, and I'd get enough, I'd get enough slack on the thing that it would go through. But I don't know, this thing, will it last NAMM? Who knows? Okay, cool. Well, this gentleman with the Zoom HD camera in the front is going to have a look on the app. I'm going to play another song, try and demonstrate a different side to this guitar, which is the sort of sustain that you can get with a through-neck guitar in conjunction with active pickups. This is just a ballad song. It's called What Lies Beneath. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Cool. So, is it sounding all right? Is it all good? Okay, cool. Nice one. Any of you guys got any questions, anything like that?
How many notes are in that song?
Well, it's good that you ask. I think when we counted, it was about 50,200,038 and a half.
Nice. That's what I thought.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I mean, I could try. I mean, some of my songs are actually easier to play faster. Like, some of the new stuff seems really slow to play up here. But I watched some of it back yesterday just to check that I wasn't monumentally fucking any of it up. Because obviously, you know, if you play guitar, obviously things are different. I mean, I always say to people, you know, you should, you know, when you play guitar, record it and then listen back to it, and then you can truly be objective about how it sounds when you play. Because when you play, you know, especially when I play, a lot of it, you end up just in a different place where you're not really listening. Well, you are listening to what you're doing, but you're kind of worrying about the physical aspect of playing stuff as well as, you know, tonally how it sounds. So you've always got two things going on. But yeah, generally I try and record stuff and hear it back, and if I like it, then I'll sort of learn it. And then, you know, a lot of my stuff is written, although, you know, I can improvise. But, you know, like Prashant, for example, he was playing earlier, a lot of his stuff is improvised. You know, so we're very different players from that point of view. There are players that feel really comfortable doing that kind of thing. And I don't. So I kind of, you know, I write stuff generally, and if I kind of go off the beaten track a little bit, you know, obviously it's good to be able to improvise to sort of like get yourself back on, and it looks like you haven't fucked it up. Unless you make silly faces, and then it's obvious that you've done yourself a mischief. Okay, yeah.
I had a good question for you. So I noticed that you're not real heavy on using your picky and all that stuff that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the instructional videos you'll find online, they'll be really big about proper etiquette using all your fingers. Is that ever something that's come to you?
Yeah, a lot. But I think, you know, my limitations as a guitar player has kind of made me find other avenues to be able to play stuff. You know, like, I mean, I'll turn my delay off. Toilet is never good in lessons. So, yeah, I mean, you know, like, obviously, I mean, I'm a big fan of Paul Gilbert and all that kind of stuff, and his kind of picking and all the rest of it. You know, when I do any picking, it's 1, 2, and 4. Let's number the fingers. 1, 2, 3, and 4, just in case you didn't get that. 1, 2, and 4, they kind of work together. You know? Doing that kind of thing. And, you know, 1, 2, and 3 works. I think, you know, when I started playing piano before I played guitar, I think I kind of developed some good stretching with my left hand, and I think that's probably why I get such big stretches with, like, you know, those 3 fingers. So, you know, doing anything just ends up being a lot easier to do. It's not nearly as consistent trying to, you know, put the little finger in. But the thing is, people kind of go, yeah, but you don't use your little finger at limit shell. Well, it doesn't, because I still would be playing that lick anyway, because that's what I've written. So what fingers I use to play it is fucking irrelevant.
I agree.
So, you know, it's, yeah.
That's a good
so,
put out.
But I mean, you know, Guthrie Govan, I mean, you know, I'm sure all of you guys know him, you know, he's playing, I mean, he uses, you know, 3 fingers. He even uses a hairband. No one gives him any shit. So why do I always end up with the shit end of the stick? But yeah, that's, you know, that's kind of why. And also, I think, you know, because my 3rd and 4th finger are double jointed, I mean, it just, they look it's when I start doing things like that, and sometimes I'll do bends, and people do little finger bends and stuff, but I kind of don't bother. So, you know, the difference between... yeah, and you know, it's like, why would I bother now, after 20 years of playing guitar, change it? Fuck 'em, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Okay.
What techniques do you practice, or did you practice to get faster and faster?
What, you mean alternate picking, that kind of stuff? Yeah, there's generally a few things that kind of fuck you up when you're doing alternate picking, and it's generally the outside upstroke going to the next string. You know, I mean, I mentioned Paul Gilbert, but I always do, because his lessons are kind of the best I've seen on, like, you know, alternate picking and stuff like that. I mean, you know, some people might disagree, but did you disagree? You disagree?
No, he said especially his presence on the first video.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I said presence. Yeah, I mean, he's got a kooky sense of humour as well, which is cool. I think that's, you know, that's quite a good thing to have. But yeah, you know, to kind of go in, you know, doing this. See, I think with his lesson, he used to kind of really accent that. I kind of spent a long time doing that. But there is a kind of middle ground point where you do sort of like struggle. And I still do even now if I'm doing at certain picking speeds and stuff like that. But generally, the best way to train yourself is to just start on a fairly sort of modest BPM on a metronome and just play, you know, like a note per click. You know, not worrying about rhythmic, you know, being playing in between the beat and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, just kind of doing that. And if you can get it up to, I think, you know, if you can get your picking up to 160 BPM, I think that's a fairly reasonable target for anyone to achieve. I mean, you know, anything kind of up to 180 and 200 is, you know, it's hard to kind of do, you know. But it really does depend. I mean, a lot of my picking depends on what pick I'm using, which is kind of why I've been on a fucking search for, like, you know, the pick. I must admit, I mean, this is, I don't know, I haven't thrown it away yet. And yesterday I did a clinic, I went through nearly 10 picks.